if you're someone with a history of trauma, complex childhood trauma, if you had a start in life where you felt unprotected, abandoned, or unseen, one thing you should definitely do for yourself is to rewire your neural pathways to shift the baseline of your nervous system by actively reparenting yourself. I also want to say this, abandonment isn't always intentional. It can be caused by the death of a primary presence in your life, or maybe they were ill the entire time. So even though the absence wasn't anyone's fault per se, the impact is still the same. Listen, for many of us, something we experience a lot on our healing journeys is this instinct to first deny, downplay, or even justify our experiences. We want to make sense of why certain things happened the way they did. We tell ourselves, listen, it wasn't that bad. People had it worse, okay? Or we say they did the best they could. And sometimes that is true. That is true. But understanding rarely ever helps with the open wound, not at first. And when we finally realize this, the anger creeps in, and then the pain and the grief. And sometimes in that process, our instinct is to run back to our origin, to the people and places that hurt us, not only to excavate ourselves or to confront them, because that's why some people go back, which is fine, by the way. But many of us are also there, secretly hoping that if we shout enough, if we scream enough, they'll finally fix it, that they'll finally love us the way they were supposed to, finally apologize, finally show up for us the way they never did. For some of us, we go the opposite way. We distance ourselves completely, and while that can be valid and even necessary, we may find ourselves still stuck, not because we aren't trying, but because we forget that wherever we go, we carry our wounds with us. Yes, all those voices, all the faces you are running from, they live within you, they travel, they get on planes, they move countries with you. They have roots in your subconscious and will keep following you around until you do the needful. How long are we going to keep running? When will we face the reality that the behaviors we exhibit today, your coping mechanisms, addictions, your perfectionism, hypervigilance, the lack of boundaries, the low self-esteem, the lack of self-respect and self-sabotage, they are not just reactions to your pain or trauma, but also communication from your inner child. Through these patterns, they are practically screaming, begging you to see that they are stuck. Nobody gave them the tools to handle life in a constructive, healthy way. They are asking the only adult whom they must now trust. You. Yes, you. They're asking you to help them out, to show up for them, to come into that dark hiding place and pull them into the light. So if you find that you keep hitting a wall in this journey, trying to figure yourself out, your breakthrough might not be in running away, or in running back. It might be in the crouching. Yes, in the kneeling, getting down to eye level with that child in you, making them your friend, recognizing their pain points, learning exactly how and when they show up today, then giving them the nurturing, the guidance, the reassurance they always deserved. There's this sentiment I heard in a body of work. It was a movie I watched, 5-6 years ago. Essentially, they described the mind, especially young minds, like wet, mushy concrete. And when something heavy, something painful or horrible happens, it leaves a dent. If there's no care, no tools to fix it, if nobody takes the time to level it back up, the concrete dries dented. And the effect is that years later, whenever life presses on that spot, we react not with the maturity of today, but with the rawness of the wound that caused the dent. That's why you can be dealing with someone in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and when a certain thing comes up, they might revert to an 8-year-old, to a 15-year-old, because emotionally, part of them is still stuck there. And this is what reparenting will do for you. You go back to that 15-year-old, 8-year-old self, 5-year-old self, and you take off the burden that was too heavy for them to carry. Then you fill in that dent with the right tools. And by the way, inner child work is not just for people with complex trauma. It's for anyone who feels like they've lost that sense of wonder, that freedom, that expression or rhythm that most of us came into this world with. If you find yourself suppressing a lot, disconnected and unable to just be, there might be some work to be done there. Because at the end of the day, every single soul on earth was once a child. And children are innately self-focused, as they should be, by the way. So when things happen, no matter how little they seem from the perspective of an adult, to a child, their entire world just fell apart. Okay? So you might find yourself thinking, but Pearl, nothing ever happened to me in my childhood, yet I struggle with so and so. Yes, you may be right when we look at it from a hierarchical place, but when it's the POV of a tiny, vulnerable human who thinks the entire world and all of its galaxies live in the hands and bodies of their primary caretakers in their home environment, you might begin to uncover why you are the way you are. I love the book It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolin for this very reason. So if you can't immediately identify where you might need inner child work, don't knock it, okay? You might be surprised how much you can uncover and rectify when you begin to integrate with them. Those adults that you see, those people that feel like there's just this ease and this lightness around them, just pure, unstated confidence. I will gladly bet something very important. I was going to say my left arm, but I've bet that a few times. But I will gladly bet something important that is because their inner child is safe, seen, and happy. So how do you start? What do we do? The first step is to reconnect by treating your inner child like a real separate entity with a world and valid experiences of their own, a voice of their own. And then you invite them to meet you. I know this might sound wild and weird, but listen, it's quite practical. You begin by actively remembering, who were you? Who were you before the world got its hands on you? What was your natural rhythm? What did you like or love? How did you spend your time? What did you dream about? What was school like? What was your earliest memory of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it tough on you? Did you have friends? Who were they? Did you have a favorite toy? Or maybe you didn't even have toys, and that matters too. And then you ask all the people who grew up with you, your cousins, your siblings, your parents, if they can answer, extended family, what they remember about you as a child. And then you see if it differs from what you remember. And then you block out time to figure out why that dissonance exists. After you've learned the basics and gathered all this information, it's time for you to now say something to your inner child. Okay? Remember, you're a combination of your child self, your teenage self, where it applies your early adult self, and then your present self. Every decision, every thought, every action you take today is filtered through them all. And in a case like this, the loudest one, the primary dictator of all those selves, has been your child self. They have always been reaching out in the way they know how to, through your patterns, your fears. Now it's time for you to acknowledge all that effort and ask what they need. The end goal is to figure out through observation and active listening, how do I make it so that when you speak, when you show up, we are both no longer hurting. Okay? And I know how overwhelming, painful, delicate, and beautiful this process can be, which is exactly why I created the Unmasking Comprehensive Workbook. Inside, I guide you through daily exercises, grief, and anger work. I know that keeps coming up on this channel, so I've put everything in there. Embodiment, ritual practices, guided reflections. I have an entire chapter dedicated to reparenting work to help you not just to meet your inner child, but to integrate them, to give them, and by extension yourself, the safety, love, security, the grounding you may have lacked back then. I have lots of videos on this channel that can support you too. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can grab the workbook on my website, theneurocosmic.com. Link is down below. It's for anyone ready to stop living in survival mode, who is ready to stop hiding, ready to drop their mask and finally reclaim their peace. You deserve a life where the wounded parts of you are no longer sabotaging your current experience, your joy, your peace, your chance at a beautiful life. I remember once saying to my sister, sis, Am I too damaged? Will I ever be able to hold these experiences, these memories, without feeling like the world is sitting on my chest? We both sat in silence as we pondered that question, but I can say today, with my entire, very free chest, that I no longer feel that way. The skies are clear, the wind still sings, I feel renewed, held by life itself. Not because my past disappeared, not because my pain wasn't that bad, but because it no longer controls me. Because I finally stopped waiting for somebody to save me and I learned how to show up for myself. I sincerely wish this freedom for you. Honestly, I wish it for you so bad. That's the goal I have every time I show up here. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. My name is Pearl Girl, and I'll see you in the next video. 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 In the next video.